Hello, my lovelies. Wanted to come in and see how you're doing. And yeah, it looks like we have a topic for today. We're talking about keys to success. Oh my gosh. So this one is a little scary. I'll tell you why. Because what exactly does success mean? What kind of success are we speaking about? We're talking about financial success, relationship success, physical fitness success, mental success. What does success constitute for you? When did I define success for myself? Let's put it this way. Anytime I look back over my life, I see the different versions of myself with each significant time period. And you can do that for yourself as well. You can look back to any given time in your life at a specific situation and then look at the version that you were then, which would help explain why, things transpired the way they did, as an example. So when I look back, I see that I had different definitions for the word success, and and these definitions were very much subject of my environment as well as my current and long-term desires. Now, here is something interesting that I discovered. I discovered that while I had long-term pictures and plans, all of my decisions were short-term decisions with short-term effects. Every single one of them. What do I mean by this? Now, I generally knew what I wanted out of my career and out of my personal life. I had a clear indication of who I was and the kind of life that I wanted to live. Now, when I looked at what I did on a day to day basis in any single category of my life, it was not entirely aligned with my overall belief that I knew what I wanted out of life. In fact, at any given time, I was making decisions based upon what was immediately presented to me. So events and people literally ran my day. And if there were no events or people to run my day, then because I was conditioned to always seek solutions in the midst of chaos or to make sense of situations that didn't make sense, then what I would do is I would go create that for myself. I would go create that for myself. I would look for a situation to get into or people to get in contact with that would create that same environment of chaos in which I thrived because I would make the sense out of the nonsense. Okay, so you may be wondering how I would have gone straight into drama or invited that in or created the chaos for myself. And it really just has to do with what we tolerate and what we're comfortable tolerating. And if we look at this without looking at it judgmentally, meaning that if we just look at what we do objectively, we can get a wealth of information about ourselves and why we do the things we do so that we know what we can improve on or what we can continue to strengthen. It's not an easy exercise, but by far one of the fastest, easiest ways to correct a behavior within oneself. Now, it does involve a few things, and the very first two things are going to be difficult for you to hear. The first one is it means acknowledging the trait, and the second thing, it means allowing it so that you can accept it. What does this mean? If, for example, you perceive yourself to be, um, let's say you have a part of you that you're not very happy with. So maybe you overeat, you undereat, you overexercise, you underexercise, you oversleep, you undersleep, you work extremely hard, you don't work at all. Any one of these parts of you that you're unhappy with, that you are continually working to improve. I want you to really go into that space so that you can identify that side of you. Now, you will know that you have tapped into that side of you because of how you feel right now. If you've tapped into the side of you in which you feel defeated or helpless, you should also feel it in your body. So some of you may feel it on your head like a band or like a piercing um, to one side of like the right side. For me, decades ago, it used to be that. Or you may feel it on your shoulders, on your back. You may feel it in your abdomen. You may even feel it on your feet. your knees, your fingers. Feel where that weight is sitting on you. And now the reason why I say all this is because there are a couple of things that are useful to know about feeling helpless. Human beings, we are made to survive. Any living, like our DNA is so precise. And when you look at how everything has been created, it's so that it survives. You know, you could deny elements of life and it'll still find a way to adapt. It'll still mutate. It will do whatever it needs to do to camouflage. Whatever it needs to do to stay alive. So you can imagine that within yourself, every single fiber of your being wants to be alive. Not a single part of you wants to die. Not one. Yet if ever you are in a space in which you feel stuck, there's a characteristic, there's a character trait, there's a situation in your life that just really gets you down. And it gets you down so badly that you can't see the rest of the world through clear eyes, which means that you can't see what good things are actually happening. You can't see the areas in which you're actually hitting success, in which you're actually an inspiration to others, even, in which you're moving so fast and so well. You've mastered that. You don't see it. Now, do you see how my body language changed when I was talking about the characteristic that puts you into that negative space in which you just feel helpless? And I use the word helpless because helpless is synonymous with despair. It means the end. It's at the bottom. It's like closed in, caved in, door shut. That's what we get when we think about helpless, is that you're literally in this cage that automatically shows up and holds you in. You are helpless. And then you noticed how my demeanor and my face changed, and my smile and my eyes when I started talking about those other parts of you that are successful, the parts of you that are progressing, the parts of you that are doing so well, that you're even inspiring others, you're bearing good fruit, that you're leaving a legacy of some of the most important virtues to you behind. So when you consider all these different parts, it's interesting that you can have this one thing not go right in your life, and that sets the blueprint for the rest of your time. What we focus on expands, and if you're the kind of person who likes to solve problems, if you're the kind of person who looks for inefficiencies, if you're the kind of person who looks for patterns and knows how to bring about resolution quickly and easily, it's just the way your mind works, this can especially be troubling to you because you are always in a fix it mood. You're always in a fix it mood. So you know that there's something really wrong with you. You know that there's something that needs to be fixed. And the problem is you don't know what it is, or you think you know what it is. So you go digging around places. Sometimes you hit the jackpot, sometimes you don't, and you're just digging around, and it's getting frustrating because you realize you're digging yourself into a hole. And then you get to that place now where you feel helpless, where you feel the loss of the sense of control in the situation and how you feel about the situation and your actions around the situation. And so when I tell you that one of the ways to actually get out of this funk is to first acknowledge this and then accept it. I understand how hard that can be. But if you are in that place right now, you're in that space, the first thing to do is acknowledge it. Acknowledge. I feel bad about my, and then fill in the blank and then add situation. So it would be like, I feel bad about my relationship status with, and then get specific about the person. I feel bad about my relationship with money. I feel bad about the way my relationship is with my kids right now. Like, get really specific. Get really specific about what you feel helpless, what you feel bad in, bad about, bad for, and name the situation. And what you'll see in the personal development world, even in the spiritual and also Christianity, is it's a laying out. And when you unburden yourself, when you do this, then what you're doing is you are neutralizing its power. That situation no longer has a hold on you as it did before. Ordinarily, the reason why we don't say truly how we feel is because we hide behind a cloud of shame. Um, Previously, we've been taught that if you talk this way, if you express yourself this way, if you say these kinds of words, the end result is shame. And so you don't want to be shamed. Now, when you declare something in which you're failing, or something in which you feel helpless in, or something in which you feel completely done, and you are very specific about what it is, what you're doing is you're saying there is no shame. So you're not hiding it, you're not shrouding it, you're not covering it up with shame. Instead, you're letting it be known. And this opens up the door for help. Exactly what you need is there. We've all heard this thing when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You can probably say better than I just did. That would be it. The moment that you acknowledge and accept a problem. So in this specific instance, it would be an area in your life that's just not going well. An area in your life in which you look at and you say, you know what? No judgment. This part of my life just sucks. The minute you do that, then there is no shroud of shame, and so then it can be dealt with. Okay, so let's say you uncover your biggest problem and you acknowledge it and you let yourself feel what the feelings are that are going to go through your body, and just pay attention to where they're sitting, right? Because that's also going to tell you a lot about your physical health. All these negative feelings, all these feelings of helplessness, they sit on our body and it comes out in our physical health. So this is something that you want to know is, what's hurting in my body and what is it related to? What thoughts are they related to? What thoughts trigger the pain, or what thoughts bring on the pain and the inflammation and the discomfort? What's going on here? And you want to pay attention to that. So that's a really good thing to do anyway. Okay, so we've uncovered this, we understand. So then what's the next step? Because I know that you don't want to stay here. I mean, that defeats the purpose, right? So how do you move past that and get to the place where you feel unified and you feel whole and you feel good, and you feel like you can progress on? And that's really what you want, because you're not your pain, you're not your inabilities, you're not anything that you perceive to be wrong or needs to be fixed. Nothing needs to be fixed. It's just the way your brain is wired. That's all. So you can also look at yourself with compassion and mercy and understand that, listen, I'm a fixer. If this is you, you can tell yourself, I'm a fixer. I just automatically look for solutions. I love to fix things. When I fix things, or when I help people in that sense, I feel good. Like, that's a part of me that feels validated by that. So when I see a problem within myself that I can't fix, then I feel helpless and my doubt comes in. So just be really real and really honest, and look at it from both sides of the coin. On the one side, you have this really great gift that allows you to be a blessing to others. On the other side, it has some side effects. So look upon those side effects with mercy and kindness, and always just remind yourself, if this is who you are, if what I've said resonates with you, then just be merciful to yourself and say, listen, I understand. Now, you could have a different way of thinking, and I'll give you a few others and give you examples of how they kick in and how you can help them out. Another way of thinking is, if you have a very strong sense of right or wrong, a very strong sense of justice, and that means that things are black and white. But it also means that the way you look at the world and the way that you look at information is purely fact based, and so emotions really don't have anything to do with that. Which means that you're very good at dissecting situations and offering clarity and solutions where others don't see that. They just see a lot of noise, but you have this ability to do that. Now, on the downside, that same ability doesn't quite work in your own life in some regards, because there's also emotions within you, and so we have a bit of this clash between how you see the world, how you believe you should see the world, and then how you're experiencing it, conflict there. So in that case, you again understand that the parts of your brain, the parts of your mind that is so beautiful and unique and so you, while that is its strength, then this is the other part that is its weakness. It's how it goes, yin yang. So it's what to do. It's self-soothe. Start paying attention to yourself and how you think, how you behave, so that you can start to soothe yourself through troubling times. Now, we have the pandemic, which is troubling times, but if you're honest, you're always in troubling times, whether there's a pandemic or not. There's always something you're worried about, thinking about, planning, trying to figure out. The human condition. So just use these along your path. But as you're talking about getting to this place where you are not feeling helpless, because for as long as you're not feeling helpless, you're not going to make a move in the right direction. Well, that would definitely be a key to success, is mastering that, is overcoming that obstacle, is learning how to be resilient and 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 to gain the exact tools that are actually going to help you make headway, because you might as well get the tools that are really going to do the job rather than tools that won't do anything for you. So what are some of the things that you can do? I'm going to give you maybe one or two suggestions. um, so the first thing that you do, just give me a moment, I'm just going to go there because I have a big one for you. Okay. So the first thing that you do, so remember we have acknowledged and accepted the area in which we feel helpless. So the first thing that we do is acknowledge and accept that we don't know what a better future looks like. A lot of times people don't like to make moves until they think things through, but that's a little impossible if you're talking about making a move into the unknown. You don't have enough information, you don't have enough experience, you don't have enough background, you have no reference, so zero context with which to make a plan. A plan is never going to work, and you're not fooling your mind. So while you're busy writing out on paper or speaking with people and letting them know what your plan is, your mind is like, yeah, right. All I see is darkness. I'm not jumping anywhere. You can go there by yourself. I'm staying right here. And that's why you're stuck. It's because you don't have anything before you. Even that vision is not that strong. It's like waning. It's like, for some people, they feel lost at sea. For others, they feel stuck in a desert. For others, they feel stuck down a hole, a well. So whatever that looks like for you, when you look out into the future, when you ask yourself, well, what does my future look like once I overcome this obstacle? Then what? Right? When you answer the then what question, and if you find that you can't because all you see is darkness, well, that's the reason why you're not moving forward. So the first thing to do there is to acknowledge, I don't see a future. Just say it. Say, you know what, Julia, I don't see a future. I don't see a future. I mean, intellectually, I believe it. I understand it. Everything that I'm doing is hopefully working toward it. But the truth is, I just don't see a future at all. That's the first step. Acknowledge what is true. So this is allowing you to get into that state in which you are no longer lying to yourself. Anytime you're stuck in any specific area of your life, this is because you are lying to yourself in one way or another. And we have a clash of beliefs. We have a clash of beliefs. So that needs to be resolved so that you can be in agreement and then follow your course with that one decision that you've made. So that's what this is. It's introducing a relationship in which you can start to be honest with yourself. If you're not going to be honest with yourself, who can you be honest with, honestly? If you can't even trust your own private thoughts, we have bigger problems. And so that's the first thing, is to be honest with yourself about what you can see and what you can't see. Be honest with your expectations. Sometimes we go toward our goals and we have nothing but the best ideas and ideals and hopes and wishes for them. But then we also have this thing called expectations, and sometimes they pop up, and sometimes they sound like everything's just gonna go to hell. Everything is just gonna crash and burn. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. Like, I'm just waiting for us to run out of money. I'm waiting for us to run out of time. I'm just waiting for people to quit on me. I'm waiting for people to say that this isn't worth it. I'm waiting for no one to buy. Those are the things that still run at the back of our minds, even as we're walking toward what we're seeking. Those are the ones that then become obstacles. So it's very important to understand what those thoughts are so that you can relinquish them, so that you can terminate them. You can absolve them, tell them, yo, we don't need you anymore. So as a result, as an example, the thoughts that when you think about your future and you think about planning it out, you've probably planned out. And let's talk about an area like love or your business. So we're talking about money or clients or relationships or health and fitness, whatever that is. When you think about it and the steps that you're taking toward remedying the situation, what some of the other thoughts that creep in? The ones that tell you that this isn't a possibility for you. Pay attention to those thoughts. And if they keep coming up, I want you to ask them, is that true? Just say that. Is that true? Is that true? Anytime you hear a thought come up, don't accept it. Question it. Is that true? Is that true? When you hear those thoughts, you say, oh, you can't do this. I can't do this. This is too much. Is that true? Oh, I don't even know why you bother doing this, Is like, why? Why? Is it true that you can't be bothered or you don't know why you bother? Like, question. And that gives you a chance to look at the thought and figure out right now, make it a decision and not a project, and make a decision as to the next step. You can say, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. And then find the statement that affirms what you have just said and keep it moving that way. So listening to the thoughts and then interrupting them and replacing them with something that is true and positive as you keep going down that way. It is practice. It does take practice. Now you can do this yourself, and it's probably going to take you a while. It could take you years or whatnot. So the second suggestion that I would make is honestly just go see a professional, talk to a professional. You can want something in your life, and you can think that maybe it's part of the journey that you suffer for it, that you go through tremendous pain for it, that you struggle for it, that you pay for all your previous sins, that you prove through the struggle that you are a good person, that you are not being fueled by greed. All these things that are keeping you in the state of being stuck, all the things that feel good about being stuck. Because the truth is, human beings, as I mentioned long before, that we are actually just fully equipped for survival. Well, you don't stay in places in which you don't grow, because if you don't grow, you die. As a living thing, you grow or you die. You grow or you die. Anytime they space, you'll notice that plants, they stretch out even more, take over that space, when there is no sunlight or we don't have rain, and that's when they get a little bit smaller. That's when they really, get a little bit smaller so that they can conserve all that they're using, the resources as well, as enable that they sustain their life. So you have to think about it in that sense with us as well. Anything that you're not dealing with in terms of an obstacle is pretty much preventing your growth. And there is something, nice about that that's keeping you there. But maybe it's time to replace that with a vision that you can actually see of what that success means to you. So getting really clear on what that success means to you. What does it mean to you? If we're talking about your business and getting clients, well, what does that look like? Are we talking about getting, 10 clients, 3 clients a day, 5? Is it electronic? Is it through email? How do they come to you? Just start really envisioning and picturing exactly what you want so that your actions can start to line up. If you decide within yourself that you are very happy in the online space and you never want to go out to another networking event again because you've never enjoyed it, you may be surprised to find that, this weight is just dropped from your shoulder, the weight with the expectation that you should enjoy offline networking and marketing, that you should enjoy that, instead giving you that release to know that you can go online, spend your time there, enjoy yourself, market your products and services, have great business, and still love your life. So this is a really great time to get clear on that, on what you want, what that vision looks like, and that really is the first step, because after that, getting the clients that you're looking for is not much harder than that, really. And I cover all of this in my upcoming 4-week program. So I have a program that's starting on April 9th. It's 4 weeks, and it's Get Clients Accelerated program. And what we're doing over the 4 weeks is we're working on the beliefs that have been obstacles in your way up until now in growing your business and starting your business and getting clients. And we're going to take care of that immediately. So the very first thing that I am promising you is that you're going to feel that immediate release in our first week. Just get those thoughts out. The reason I do this is because I could start with a strategy and I could start with the techniques. However, for as long as you have these thoughts and beliefs in your head, you're not going to do anything. and I'll have wasted my time completely. Not only that, but it'll just be adding more stress to you because in addition to what you're already going through, you're going to be thinking, now I have to implement this. Now I have to, I can't, I won't do that to you. So our very first week, we're going to talk about those obstacles. And not only are we going to talk about them, but because I'm keeping it a nice small group, I'm going to work with each of you and make sure that by the end of the first week, the thoughts that keep you stuck, the spaces in which you feel that you can't breathe or move, that we take care of that. I want your mind free. I want to give you peace. And then we go into strategy. So because we have 4 weeks to do this, and my goal is to get you clients within 30 days, what I'm doing in the first week, in addition to clearing out the obstacles that stand in your way, the mental blocks, I'm also going to be replacing them with the tools and the keys that you need so that you can succeed for the following 3 weeks. Because each week thereafter, we're going to go into branding, marketing, and sales. And they're going to be powerful because you're not just going to sit there and take notes from me. That's not how this is happening, honey. I want you to get those clients within 30 days. And so that means we're going to be doing work here. So for the very first week, I will have empowered you. I will have replaced your thought system so that you're in a more generous and abundant space and you are confident and you have the courage and you are passionate about what you do. So you're actually going to do what I say, and you're going to see that it's pretty easy. If you're in an elevated space, really, if you're in that space of giving, in that space of I'm here, I'm alive, I'm thriving, I'm living, and I have work to do. And then the second week we have the marketing. So the first, which is branding, which is we want people to have a specific perception of you. And that's what we're doing with branding. With marketing, it's you letting the people that you are equipped to help know exactly what you stand for so that they know that they can come to you. And then for sales, we're going to go through the sales confidence, the soft skills, how to really enjoy the sales call, make it a powerful, energetic connection so that it's a pleasure for them to give you their money the same way it's a pleasure for you to give them the services. So this is all happening from April 9th, and it's going to be 4 weeks. It's going to be once a week for about, I think, 1 or 2 or 3 hours. I have to check each week, where we'll be going through these different modules. And as well, I'll have done the powerful work on you, and you're going to start seeing the benefits on all other areas of your life because of what you've done there. What is the price? It is $245 plus tax, which I believe is $268 if I round it off. It's $245 plus tax, 13%. Email transfer to Julia at juliakatsivo.com. Leave your first and last name and your email address in the memo so that I can send you your business expense receipt. Now, I am closing this at 15 people. So if you feel this is you, please don't hesitate. You know you need this. I don't have to give you that spiel again. So it's $245 plus tax. Email transfer to Julia at juliakatsivo.com. Please include your first and last name, your company name, and your email address so that I can send out your receipt and more information about the program that is beginning on the 9th. I'm very excited about it because this is the time for us to make moves in our business. This is the time for us to really decide what kind of a life we want to live and what kind of a business we want to support that. And also get really clear on what we want as individuals, what kind of people you want to be, who you want to be surrounded with, what kind of a house you want to live in, what kind of an office you want to work in, what kind of work day you want to have, what does vacation mean to you. This is the best opportunity to get really clear on this, and I'm very, very excited to support you.